Hi everybody, here are 10 of my personal tips when using Blender I want to show you today. Number 1. Wireframe. So we've got the cube on stage, on scene, and sometimes we want to see all the faces and the edges on this object. So the simple way is to enable wireframing. So we can go to the overlays and choose in geometry wireframes, and we can control, of course, the opacity to see the faces and edges. But now on this cube we have only 6 faces, and let's increase this. So tap to edit mode and A for select all, and subdivide this a little bit, maybe this much is enough. Okay. And now we can see when the wireframe is enabled, we can see all the subdivided faces. We can see the mesh, and this is pretty nice and very useful during the project. I use it a lot to see the faces, the edges, which, for example, was extruded or not, if something is wrong. So this is very useful. Okay, and let's leave it for now to the off mode. Okay, let's go to tip number 2. Tip number 2: zoom to object. Okay, let's duplicate this cube a little bit. Okay, here, okay, maybe here. And let's assume we want to quickly zoom to objects. So on the numpad, it's only the matter of pressing the dot point on numpad. So we've got the zoom to the object. Numpad del or point on numpad. This is very useful and I use it a lot. Okay, numpad del, and we can zoom to the object we choose. Okay, let's delete these cubes. Okay, now let's add some geometry nodes. Let's expand the geometry nodes window. Okay, geometry node editor. Okay, let's add geometry nodes. Okay, and now I want to show you how to cut and add points. So it's tip number 3. Tip number 3: nodes connection. Add points, cut noodle curving. So we add a geometry to our cube and we want to quickly cut this connection. So Control and right mouse button, and we can cut this connection. Okay, let's Control Z. Okay, now we want to add a point on this noodle, on this line. So Shift and right mouse button. Okay, and we have a point. And now with pressing G, we can control the position of this. Okay. And once again, when we delete this by pressing del, we delete the noodle connection. Okay, Control Z. Let's connect this. And now you can see that I have a straight line, but we can control the curveness of this line. So we have to go to Edit, Preferences, and now in Temps, we go to the node editor here, and now on the last section we have noodle curving and grid level, and when we increase noodle curving, okay, maybe to 0.10, so now you will see that when I control this, you will see that the noodle is curved. Okay, and now I will change noodle curving back to 0, so you have a straight lines. You can control, this is a matter of your own preferences, but I like it straight. Okay, let's close this. Okay, and let's close this. Tip number 4, mute nodes. Okay. So once again, when we will go to our node editor, in geometry node editor, and we have, for example, let's add some extrude mesh. Okay. And now we want to mute the node for a while. So the only way is to press M. The quickest way is to press M on the keyboard, and we can mute this node for a while. M, mute and off and on. Okay. It's a matter of pressing M on keyboard to mute the nodes. Okay. So let's close this. Okay. Tip number 5, viewport view, stop side view with control. Okay. So I've prepared this colored cube to show you how to change views in a viewport. So on the numpad we have by pressing 7 we have top view, by pressing 1 we have front view, etc, etc. So let's assume we have a top view by pressing by 7, and now we want to the bottom view. So we can achieve this by pressing Ctrl and 7, and we have the bottom view. Okay, 7 top view and Ctrl 7 to achieve the bottom view. And this is the same with the side view. So 1 for the side view and Ctrl 1 to have the opposite side of this view. Blue and green. 1 for blue, Ctrl 1 for the opposite, green. Okay, I use it a lot because this is the quick way to control our viewport. Tip number 6, set camera to viewport. Okay, I will show you how to achieve. So let's assume we have this view and we want to quickly add the camera from this view. So the simple way is to press Ctrl Alt plus numpad 0. So let's do that. Ctrl Alt and numpad 0. And now we have a camera set to the view of this viewport. Tip number 7, camera view restrict area. So if you want to restrict the view only to this region, so press Ctrl B. Okay, Ctrl B and select this view only to restrict this area. Additionally, if you want to control the passepartout, you can go to camera settings, and now in camera settings, in viewport display, you can set the passepartout, the opacity of this passepartout. So 1 for black, and you can control 0 for white, 0 for transparency, and this is pretty nice. Tip number 8, viewport windows merging and expanding. Okay, let's go back to our viewport by pressing 0 on numpad, and now we want to have many windows because we want many views in our viewport. So here in the left corner, we can, by dragging it, we can control the split of our view. And now we can, for example, have a shader view. Okay, and from the bottom we can do the same. The left bottom corner, we can go and split this view for another maybe UV editor, etc, etc. And if you want to connect these views, and now here and press N to hide the menu, and if we want to connect these windows, we can drag back down and it will be connected. And again here, and we have the view as it was. Tip number 9, quick menus, and I will show you what that means. If you press Ctrl Tab, okay, you have object interaction mode, so you can choose the mode, okay, but you have to select the object you want the Control Tab menu appear. So with selected object, press Control Tab, and you can choose object mode, weight pane, vertex pane, text pane, edit mode, and sculpture mode. So this is a quick way to go and choose your interaction mode. Another menu I use often is Shift S, and you can set cursor position. I often use this to select cursor to selected, okay, and now if I press Shift A and go on select maybe cube, another cube will be placed here in selected object, okay, and now if I will choose Shift S and cursor to selected and Shift A, mesh maybe this time torus, and the torus will appear here. And this is nice to control the position of new object, of placing new objects on the scene. And tip number 10, view all scene object. Okay, let's assume we have plenty of objects on the scene, so let's duplicate this, Shift D, here and here and here and maybe here and maybe here and here, and we have maybe selected this one, okay, and now we want to quickly view all scenes on the object, so we can achieve this by pressing Shift C, and now we have all the objects visible on the scene. Yes, and once again del on numpad, and if we want to see all the objects, we can press Shift C and we have all objects on the scene. So thank you for watching this quick tutorial tips and tricks part 1, and expect part 2. I hope you like it and see you soon. Bye.